And certainly speaking of some of the early childhood trauma that you did go through with the sexual abuse and then recently the tragedy of losing your daughter, particularly with the early childhood stuff, anybody can't be helped but be impacted by that, be reshaped by that. How would you say that that informed or impacted your life moving forward, and maybe specifically how it might have informed the type of stories that you would write, or the way that you would write those stories?
Well, certainly the one where that came out the most was in the memory tree. And it was a very, when I got to the point in the book where it first said, this is what's happening, and it was very blunt, and it was very disturbing. I couldn't write it. I just froze. And no matter how many times I went back to the computer, I couldn't get past it. And for 5 years, I kept trying to write that chapter, and I couldn't do it. I just put it aside. I finally said, I got to write this thing. And because sexual abuse does not go away. It stays with you your whole life. And no matter what else, you're always going to know you're a victim of sexual abuse. And you can't shake it. So I knew I'd have to get over this thing that was blocking me. And so I finally one day just said, I'm doing it today. I thought of something else, and I just let my fingers take it. My fingers came up with what I needed on the paper. And then from there, I finished the last half of the book in like a month. So it was easy to get through once I got past that. What I found there is that, and what I carried from there into other future books is that I'm a very dark horror writer, what I want to be. And a lot of my characters suffered greatly. And some of them they deserved, so I didn't feel bad. But some of them didn't. They were just like little kids who got run over and bad things happened to them. And but that had to happen to the story. When actually this book came out, little by little, Lisa Morton is a very good friend of mine, wrote the introduction to that book. And at one point she said something, I haven't read it for 10 years, but something to the effect that John writes a lot about some specific items. He writes a lot about time. He writes a lot about love. He writes a lot about cruelty. And I thought, really? Cruelty? And then I was thinking, yeah, that's right. and I think the cruelty to my characters is almost certainly due to that sexual abuse, what I've got. Not that I'm specifically saying anything about it, just that I'm willing to abuse my characters probably a lot more than most horror writers. I also have very light books as well. So my personal life, though, it's also affected me. I mean, you mentioned you never escape sexual abuse. To this day, I know there are behaviors I have that are clearly associated with that. And maybe the main one is that I almost exclusively will not make male friends because I don't trust men because of what happened. There's a few people in this room that are exceptions to that. Chris is one of those. But that's very much the exception to the rule. I mostly go out of my way to avoid making friends with men. I can friends with women, no problem, but not men. And I know that's purely because of what happened when I was a kid. Doesn't make it any easier to overcome it. And there's other things that that I still carry with me that from time to time rear their heads. And oh yeah, I know why that's there.